Raiders of Blackveil is an upcoming multiplayer roguelite ARPG being developed and published by Wombo Games. The game has a top-down perspective, MOBA-inspired characters, RPG-style looting, and a splash of extraction elements. The game supports up to 3 players, allowing you to play either solo or with friends. The game currently has 4 MOBA-inspired animal champions with unique abilities and playstyles with 8 classes and over 300 perks to create unique builds. Now, I've spent 5 hours playing this demo, and I'll have to admit this style of game usually isn't my cup of tea, but I genuinely enjoyed playing this game. In this video, I'll provide you some quick tips and guidance on the game to make your first time playing this as struggle-free as possible and kind of answer some of the questions you may have. So let's hop on in. When you first start playing, you won't know the monsters you'll be fighting, you won't know their attack pattern, nor will you have the gear to really make you do a lot of damage or take a lot of hits. With that being said, you'll get the option to choose during your perks which class you kind of want to build into, and I'm here to tell you at the beginning, Priest is the best class to go into. As you would expect with the Priest class, it does provide healing in a number of ways. You have heal on dash, a chance to heal when you auto attack. When you heal, you take reduced damage. There's even a nice upgrade skill that heals injured damage, which is pretty nice as well. So most of these classes don't have healing unless you're playing Patrice. Shout out to the Patrice mains. You're not going to get healing, so you need to have some kind of sustain, and grabbing a hefty number of priest points could help you survive long enough to make it through the map to get more rewards before, eventually perishing. Speaking of classes, I'm sure you've noticed that right when you start off, there will be 4 you can choose from, and then there are 4 classes that are locked. Don't worry about those ones that are locked. Over time, you will be able to unlock them by gathering the class medallions. These medallions are broken up into a left and a right. You'll get them as you play through the maps. They'll drop from mobs. You then take them to one of your upgraded vendors. We'll talk about that later. And they will craft it into the completed medallion, and that will unlock the class for you. Now, keep in mind that if you unlock all the classes, the perk box, right, you have to choose between 4 classes, now increases to 8. So I would recommend reading over those additional classes to see if it's something you might want to have for your particular character, because if you want to go, let's say for example, assassin priest, right, have a lot of assassin damage but able to sustain, it's going to be a lot harder to do that when you have 4 other classes to potentially pop up when you roll for a perk upgrade. I did mention classes and perks, so now is a good time to talk about some of those perks you may see. When you choose the perk option, you'll be given 1 of 2 classes to choose from. Once you choose the one you want, you're given 3 options to choose from. Some of them will say offensive, defensive, special, and ultimate. This is referring to the character's skill. Each character has a skill that is labeled offensive, defensive, special, and of course we know the ultimate is the ultimate. So essentially what the card is saying, if you use that particular skill, whatever the bonus is, it'll be applied only for that skill. So if you have an offensive attack that applies bleed, it'll only apply bleed when you use that offensive skill. So you want to think about that, because some skills have high cooldowns, and is it worth really giving up something that you can spam for something that's going to take 15-20 seconds to come down? Now there is CDR reduction, which is nice, but of course with these types of games, they're not always guaranteed. So another thing to kind of think about when you're choosing your perk upgrades. Next, I want to talk about currency. In this game, there are 3 currencies. You have your black coins, your scraps, and your crystal shards. At least that's what I call them. Each one has their particular use that they're mainly used for. For example, crystal shards are only used to upgrade your atlas. And what I mean by atlas is the character who gives your base more perks, such as like a merchant you can buy equipment from and things like that. So I'll just refer to him as an atlas because that's his name. Scraps have a multi-use where they're used for both upgrading your atlas and used to buy gear. And then lastly, you have your black coins, which are primarily used in the actual arena. When you go to the shopkeeper, you can buy stuff from him using those. You can also put those into the slot machines for a chance to get upgrades and boosts there as well. All 3 are earned by just playing the game. They are rewards depending on what you chose prior. And when it comes to the extraction portion of this game relating to currencies, in my opinion, starting out, scraps followed by crystals would be priority. The black coins, you probably shouldn't be extracting them. I mean, I had so many, and they're only really used inside while you're fighting through the maps there. And the third one I would say would probably be high quality gear that drops, and then the miscellaneous items that you could sell for scraps. This next one's kind of a little small one, and that just refers to the merchant. It'll be an upgrade using your crystals to unlock him. He's on a 15-minute timer, and you can go back and check with him to see what kind of gear he has, and you can buy that gear as a quick upgrade. Also, if you see something that's really expensive but you can't buy it yet, they have the option to where you could put that on layaway by, I think, right clicking. You can drag it down into one of those slots, and it'll keep it safe for you for when you have enough coin or scraps or whatever. In this case, you can come back and buy that item, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I just want to let you know, the more he upgrades through the atlas, supposedly the better gear that will show up. When it comes to perk options while you're going through the maps, there are 3 what I call miscellaneous options. Those are the shopkeeper, the smuggler, and the mystery option. Ooh, just want to tell you a little bit about the mystery option from the times that I've chosen it. It seems that there's 2 options. You get to go into a room full of slot machines and waste all your coins to get a bunch of upgrades, or you end up going into the sewers and meeting this weird thing that'll offer you a couple of upgrades at the cost of your HP. You will suffer injury damage. This is damage that cannot be healed, at least through normal healing methods. You have to use some of the specific methods that we'll talk about here in the next one. So we've talked about healing, and I've mentioned this thing called injury damage, I believe is what they label it as. That's HP that cannot be healed back through just healing methods. You have to use specific healing methods. So let's go ahead and just talk about which ones those are. So there's actually a number of ways you can do this. The first one would be through the shopkeeper. He always has an option to heal back some HP with him. There are bandages you can find from mob drops. Let's see, what you can use, as I mentioned, the priest skill. Every time you go into a new round, you'll heal 25 injured HP, so that's pretty OP. There's also the healing room, which will be an atlas upgrade. That's usually the best option. And then the last one that I didn't know of until recently is when you're given the perk option for HP, like an HP upgrade. Not only does it upgrade your max HP, but it'll actually clear out some of the, if not all of the injured damage you've suffered. Hopefully I got that clip. I can put that in to show it. So those are the main ways you can heal injury damage. So when you're going up against the mini boss, he has this particular skill where he shoots a fireball that will follow you around quite a distance and for quite some time as well. Now, the way to just kind of get through this is you just dash through it. You will not take any damage. The iframes will protect you. You'll destroy the ball, and you can go back to beating his ass. I thought I'd just mention that so you guys aren't rolling all over the place or running away. You just dash through the damn thing and it's gone. The next one is, as you're upgrading your atlas, you will see an item called blood. I forget the name of it, but it's a unique little symbol. I'll throw it in here. You get that item from beating the main boss. So once you make it all the way to the end, there will be a main boss, Porky the Pig. You gotta beat his ass. Now, he's kind of tough. It might take you a couple tries unless you're an alpha Gmail gamer dog. You can do it on your first try. But once you do it, he will drop 1, so you're gonna obviously have to beat his ass, I think 3 or 4 times to clear out everything in the atlas. But that's how you get that. And just as a little bonus on that one, it'll ask if you want to extract or if you want to continue the loop. The loop is, they're a lot tougher. My goodness. Just keep that in mind. If you got some good stuff on, you might want to extract until your gear's pretty solid, and then you can continue through the loop, because man, their HP almost like doubles. It's pretty insane. And now to the last one. As I mentioned here, this is a demo, so there's going to be bugs, there's going to be problems, and surprisingly, I didn't encounter that many. I think a total of 3 in that 5 hours. The first one was an audio kind of glitch. It was this annoying wind sound, like someone was doing a spin to win move just the entire time. It was annoying as hell. The next bug that I encountered multiple times, probably about 2 or 3 times, is that when there's a lot going on, a lot of mobs on the battlefield, and effects are going off, it gets stuttery, laggy, glitchy, and eventually you're gonna die because you can't move. Hopefully they can iron that out as the game starts to move into early access. But again, it's just a demo, don't take it too seriously. The game plans to go into early access sometime in Q4 of this year, so we'll have to keep an eye on that to see when it drops. They do have plans for more maps, more characters, maybe more perk and upgrades. That's going to be pretty cool. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and drop me a like and subscribe if you're feeling generous, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.